right? So we don't realize how we make ourselves look when we dive into just taking shots at people, when the common denominator in every failed relationship is you. You were there for every single failed relationship. So I think people need to take a better self inventory and understand that relationships will definitely let you know who you are. You will project every bad behavior you have onto that person in that relationship, and that takes a great amount of accountability to bring that out of a person so they can make better decisions down the line in the future.
All right, go ahead, Ali.
So, what I'm looking at the way the video portrayed relationships. I guess the way he was trying to convey what he was saying, but I look at relationships more so on a collective than I do individual. And what I mean by that is the same thing. Tying back to what Anton was saying, which I'm gonna address right now too. When there's people who speak the truth, and when there's people that's addressing accountability, people hate that today. People hate the truth today, and people hate accountability. The most divisive relationship that occurs is someone that makes other people comfortable by telling them the truth, and then we'll change that. And what we said on another panel about mental health is we'll call it gaslighting, we'll call it triggers, when it's actually weaknesses that we're still not addressing as a people. So all the brothers and sisters on this panel, if I really love you and care about you, which I love and care and respect about everyone, I'm going to tell the truth regardless of how uncomfortable it makes someone, regardless of the feelings that comes out of someone, regardless of how someone takes it, regardless of someone say they think I hate them, regardless if they think I'm speaking negative. Because it's what's funny is a lot of things we push in relationships collectively is something people what we love to do now. We love materialism, we love consumerism, we love anything and everything except for strong families and strong people. So if we tie all this back again and we talk about discipline, and the training of a code and behavior of two people, of men and women supposed to be investing in manhood, this is the part what Anton was talking about, which I acknowledge every single time, is that we all will say one thing out of one side of our mouth, and then we'll use everything else to deflect from being accountable and addressing the truth of us supposed to maintain each other. So when we say mirrors, relationships are mirrors, it transcends beyond even our individual selves. You're a mirror of your father, his grandfather, and the things that he does say. And all we say is how we can become the triumphs of our fathers, or we become the sins of our fathers. So until we move collectively in relationships and acknowledging that we got to get rid of them words like triggers and gaslighting and see it as weakness, as something when someone's saying something. If I say something, if I love you to death and respect you to death, and you ask me what I can do to change my life, and I tell you, you can either go, I'm going to do that, or I'm triggered or offended by it. Same thing with JR, same thing with Anton, same thing with Mr. Let Go, Trigger, Bruiser, all the brothers on here. If I go to a Bruiser and Bruiser goes, man, you lazy as hell. You don't want to do nothing for nobody else but yourself. You a narcissist. And I go, that's my trigger. I'm gaslighted now. I know that's my weakness, and I'm refusing to address it. So until we collectively are addressing each other first in the mirror, and we are acknowledging what makes beautiful and great people who are accountable and tell the truth for strong people that don't aspire for weakness, then the mirrors don't mean anything until we actually look in the mirror. And if I need to bring Michael Jackson up when he said, I'm talking to the man in the mirror, that song said it more than anything. Like, until we can talk about everybody else, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror, and it does become our greatest mirrors, us first, and then it's reflective of people we connected to. So we either going to trauma bond with other people and become narcissists who trauma bond, or we going to bond each other to build great, beautiful relationships that build families.
All right. Anybody else wanted to respond? What was that balance?
No, it was like a little fly I seen in here.
Okay. You got a jungle over there. Go ahead.
I believe that when I was, a lot of people say, like when I reflect back to Kevin Samuel's show, he would question women, well, why aren't you with the baby daddy? Like, I was young and dumb. That was just a reflection of them. You know what I'm saying? They were dumb. They didn't know any better. And they made wrong choices in relationships. And I totally agree with that, because you really have to value yourself more. And when you don't know yourself, you don't even know what you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. And that's what happened with me. I just thought all men are providers. Everything, the world is lovey-dovey, and I was so naive. I was just so naive. I was just a naive person. But my naivety really took a toll on me. It really put my children at a disadvantage where, the dad isn't present, and he's not consistent. And like, I didn't take my time, and I didn't know from a naive standpoint that this isn't good. This isn't a potential good partner. But I didn't know because I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I wanted. And so therefore, me making these rush choices, these superficial choices, in the long run, my children have suffered. Our family isn't together. Things are broken. I'm trying to keep it together. And it's like, oh my God, well, how do I fix this? And it's like, when I became more aware of myself and reflecting what I did and the choices I made, how I played my part in it, I said, I want the opposite. I want a family. I want to be a good wife. I want to know my boundaries. I want to know my triggers. I want to know all these things so that if a person did show these things to me, I'm not going to react, but I'm going to respond. So a lot of us, I think modern women just respond and they don't, react, and they don't know how to respond. They don't know how to reflect. They don't know how to take that deep breath. They just blast off. Blah, 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 blah. Well, you stink. Your feet stink. They bring out all your flaws, but they don't never reflect on their own. So it was a lot of digging deep to be what I wanted, to show up for myself, and to be what I wanted, and to get a relationship that I wanted. I had to be those things to myself first. And it just took me a long time to even realize that, and to take accountability, to allow. And even this is what women don't want to do. They don't even want to take a man's point of view. They don't want a man's evaluation. That's why I love Kevin Samuels, I'm sorry, but that's why I think women just hated him so much or disliked him so much, is because they just didn't want to see themselves. They didn't want to acknowledge it. They wanted to hold on to all the lies that their friends have enabled them, whoever's lied to them. They just wanted to hold on to that, and they believed the truth so much that when he held that mirror up to them, they just couldn't accept it. And it was like a cognitive dissonance. But you see later down the line, well, I should have listened to him. I should have did this. I should have. But what streamlined me to becoming more successful and actually starting to court now was listening to a man's opinion, was listening to a man holding a mirror up to me. Because women, we don't know. We're not logical. We're very emotional. We're in the moment. But a man, he can just tone that down. And so that's how I streamline my success and being better, to be able to facilitate better relationships by listening to other people's criticism of me and my performance and how I can do better.